So with that, Vince, are you ready for rapid fire?
I'm so ready for rapid fire. I've actually been looking forward to this one. We got some good stuff for you tonight.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. It's blank that ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips says the recently announced annual series between Notre Dame and Clemson does not count toward the 5 games the Irish must play annually against ACC teams each year.
This is a child-friendly show. And because I want to say it's BS, because you're playing an ACC team. Like, really? This is where you're gonna plant your flag, Jim, that Notre Dame is guaranteeing that they're gonna play and give you the best ACC matchup that you're gonna get every single year for 12 straight years.
And help your conference and your flag bearer for the conference.
And you're not gonna count that? Like, I'm going to make a prediction. It will count by the time they start playing this 12-game series. I do.
Well, now the ones, I don't think he specified this, but obviously the one, there were 3 or 4 Clemson games that were already on the schedule. Now those will count because that was part of, Jim Phillips is basically saying you will play who we tell you you're going to play.
Yeah. Jim,
and I don't count.
I just don't think Jim has the leverage that he thinks he does.
He is the commissioner.
I know that. I know that. But I just think if you're giving me the option about who has more power in the grand scheme of things, is it Jim Phillips or is it Pete Bavacqua? I'm going to give Pete the edge.
Yeah, just they're both sitting at the table negotiating those college football playoff contracts and everything else. I think from the Notre Dame perspective, it fits with what we've been talking about since last week and, earlier in this show and on yesterday's show as well regarding USC, because what have you got with USC? You've got this opponent you've been playing year in and year out, with the exception of 1 year for basically the last century in USC, but there's some uncertainty as to whether or not that is going to stay on the schedule. So from Notre Dame's perspective, it really feels like if there's a chance that game, the USC game is going to go away, it's not going to be on the schedule anymore. They have essentially filled that spot outside of the ACC agreement by having that extra game, that extra opponent on the schedule. So I do think it's a little bit odd that since Notre Dame and the ACC do have this scheduling agreement that's been in place for more than 10 years now, that Jim Phillips couldn't just say, well, hey, just plug that right in there. But I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how this actually turns out. I don't know. I feel like somebody's putting the cart before the horse, but we'll see.
Joe said maybe because of the ESPN agreement. But again, all this does is in the years that the game is played at Clemson, all this does is give ESPN more great content to put on their air.
Exactly.
It does nothing but help everybody, the conference, Clemson, Notre Dame, ESPN, whichever TV partners happen to have it.
Right.
Fill in the blank. Notre Dame's offensive success this season is dependent upon blank.
CJ Carr. The quarterback position, I guess, is a better answer because we don't know who the starter is going to be. But I think it is dependent on the quarterback. And I know that that's kind of a cheating answer, but I have a lot of confidence in the offensive line. I have a lot of confidence in the running back room. Obviously, we just talked about that. The wide receiver room is very dependent on the quarterback. And so it's going to be dependent on the quarterback. How far can you go with a rookie quarterback who we think has a very high ceiling, but what is that ceiling going to be in 25? I think that's the biggest question mark for me right now is CJ. And I think I'm confident in it, but it's still a question mark because we haven't seen him play in any games of any meaning, right? So it's still, they're only going to go as far as CJ Carr is going to take them.
I think it's the logical answer. And, when I wrote the question, the first thing I said was, well, first I thought Jesse was going to be on the show today. So I thought Jesse would say the quarterback. And then with it being you, I figured, okay, he's going to say quarterback. I'm actually going with the offensive line because, it's very reasonable to put it, to say, look, you've got a first-time quarterback, as everyone around the country wants to point out. You're going to have a quarterback who's got no experience or, virtually no experience, in comparison to the one who transferred anyway. But I just feel like if the offensive line does its thing and plays up to what we think this offensive line should play up to, DK pass pro is his answer. And I think that's the biggest thing. If the offensive line does its thing, I've really got no concerns about CJ Carr, Kenny Minchie. The running game is going to fall into place. The whole thing, if as long as the offensive line does what a Notre Dame offensive line is supposed to do and plays to that level, then you can live with a couple rookie mistakes by whoever the quarterback ends up being. So I went to the success hinging more on the offensive line than the quarterback.
I can see that. I think this offense is put together and built very positively towards having a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? Like it is a position that I think a quarterback can grow in, and I think a quarterback can be successful in because of the offensive line, because of the running game, because of the offensive coordinator. I think it's set up very positively for a rookie. So, I mean, I agree with you. I think the offensive line is going to be really good. I really do. But you're right. If they're not good, then they're really in trouble.
And look, there's still enough questions.
Sure.
Right? Because we don't know who's going to play at what position, all that different stuff. Like if you look at the potential for the starting five, I mean, again, there's a reason that three guys who started, a decent amount of games last year for Notre Dame all transferred to other schools. It's because of the talent that was coming up behind them. Fill in the blank. Notre Dame's defensive success this season is dependent upon blank.
This is so hard because there's a couple different ways I wanted to go with this. I could have gone the Chris Ash route. Okay. New DC, what's that going to look like? What's the play calling going to look like? What, all of that. But I do, and again, I don't know that this is just a layup answer, but I do think it's the defensive line. I think I have a lot of confidence in the defensive line, but there's still question marks there from a health standpoint, for all of those different things. I think if the defensive line is as dominant as they can be, this defense is going to be really good. And I think regardless of Chris Ash, and I don't mean that in a negative way towards Chris Ash, I just think it's really easy to call plays when you just got a bunch of dudes flying all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we've all been in a situation as a coach where it don't matter what you dial up because you got a bunch of dudes out there doing their thing and they're going to execute what you give them. They're going to be successful. So if the defensive line is very, very good, which I think they could be, I think that's what it's going to rest on.
So Scott and I are on the same page on this. He says defensive success is Chris Ash's game planning and play calling. And I would add in adjustments as well, because those were all, with some exceptions, things that Al Golden excelled in. I mean, we all look back at that national championship game and the USC game at the Coliseum a couple years ago and go, huh? What exactly happened there, Al? But I mean, this is the biggest X factor. It's the biggest unknown. Chris Ash coming back to college football, being a defensive coordinator for the first time in a few years. We don't know how he's going to call games. We don't know what his game plan for a game is going to look like. We don't know, Al Golden was very good at knowing when to dial up pressures and where to bring them from and doing all those different things. It was an NFL defense that really confused quarterbacks a lot of the time. And we don't know what that's going to look like with Chris Ash. The players are obviously the same. The scheme is largely going to be the same, but it's I think a lot of it's going to come down to just how Chris Ash game plans and calls things on Saturdays. Like, that's going to be, I think, the biggest thing that ultimately determines Notre Dame's success this season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I like I said, I was on the fence between Chris Ash and the defensive line, and
I'm glad we picked two different answers.
Me too,
because Ash was mine all along. So
hey, see, and you thought I was going to go there when I said it, but it went a different way. Again, if he's got a bunch of dudes running around, I think they're going to be okay.
Yes. Yep. Mark,
I knew
Safety
that was going to come up.
Ohio State.
As soon as you said he picks the great moments to blitz, and from what angle. I was like, somebody's going to bring up Ohio State. I know it's coming. I know it. And
Right.
Mark, thank you, buddy.
But you know what? Lesson learned, because he didn't do that again after that.
Yes,
right?
100%.
That was game one. So lesson learned. Okay, so we're going to play everybody's favorite game. Guess the over-under season win total. Today's team is Southern Cal, so we're going to take a look at the Trojans' schedule for the upcoming season, and then we're going to take a guess at what their over-under win total is on Fan Duel. Now, obviously, if you're watching the show and you're in the chat, don't put up, like, if you know the number, don't put it up. You can put your guesses up as to what you think it's going to be, but don't tell us the actual answer, because that takes away the fun, obviously.
It does.
I know. So here's USC's schedule. They start off with Missouri State, and then they have Georgia Southern, really challenging themselves right out of the gate in those first two games. And then they travel to Purdue. They actually get to come to Indiana twice this season, because they go to Purdue September 13th.
Good point.
Then September 20th, they host Michigan State. September 27th, at Illinois, team that a lot of people are expecting big things from this season. October 11th, they host Michigan. And then the next week, they come to Notre Dame. November 1st, after a bye week after the Notre Dame game, they go to Nebraska. Then they host Northwestern. They host Iowa. They travel to Oregon. And then they close out the regular season hosting UCLA in the Coliseum. So there's USC's schedule for the season, Vince. What do you think FanDuel is going to have their over-under win total set at?
So this is the first time I'm going to go against my gut.
Okay.
My gut was 8.5. I'm going to say it's at 9.5. Yeah, I know. I wanted to say like 9, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to be a half. 8.5 is my gut. So that's probably what it's going to be. But I feel like there's a couple of toss-up games that maybe I fell on USC's side a little bit. So I'm going to go 9.5. I would take the under, but I'm going to go 9.5. What say you?
Got a pretty good range here. DK is 7.5. DJ 8.5. Sly Fox says 7.5. Joe says 9.5. I think it's either you guys are all higher than me. I think it's going to be 7.5 or 8.5.
God, I hope so.
I think that 9.5 is too high for a team that won 6 games in the regular season last year.
Chad Bowden's got friends in Vegas, man.
I know. Let me see. So you're going 9.5.
I'm gonna go 9. I've been on fire with this game.
You have,
and my gut says 8.5. I should go 8.5, but I'm gonna go 9.5.
I'm still debating. I'm trying to get, where is it? I'm trying to get to the page without looking at the number. Man. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is 8. Man. I'm going to go 8.5.
Oh, you're going to do it.
Yes.
You're taking the number that I would have taken. Okay.
I'm going to go 8.5, and I'm leaning, gosh, again, I'm struggling with whether I should just be going 7.5 instead of the 8.5. So I'm going to go 8.5, though. You got 9.5. Okay, here it is. Are you locked in?
I'm locked. I'm locked.
Okay, you've got 9.5. I've got 8.5. The answer is 7.5.
Oh no, I was way too high.
Man,
you should have gone with your gut, Stires. 7.5. They do not believe in the Trojans.
No.
And I have to say, good for you, Vegas. Good for you. Oh, that I've never been so happy to be wrong. I'm good. I'm good.
7.5.
Man.
Vegas, 0 love for the Trojans.
Wow. Okay. I would you take the over or the under at 7.5, Sean Stires?
Art says easy money over.
I don't think it's easy money.
I don't think it's easy money. I would probably go over on the 7.5. Like, especially if you're thinking 9.5, then you've got to take the over.
I'm taking the over.
On
yes.
that.
Yeah, I'm taking the over.
But I mean, here's what I'm looking at, because I know that, like, it's hard for you because you'll never give Michigan any love, but I don't think they beat Michigan. I think Michigan, like, they'll be better at quarterback this year. And I mean, that was the biggest issue that they had last year. Now, they lost some NFL talent, but again, like, I don't think they're going to be able to take the punch in the mouth that Michigan's going to give them. Ditto with Illinois. Like, this is the stretch that I'm looking at. Illinois, at Illinois, Michigan, at Notre Dame, at Nebraska. That's 4 weeks in a row, or 4 games in a row, because they have the bye in there as well. Iowa, Iowa's offense is not great. But again, like, can they be physical enough to play with Iowa? Iowa's, and then they go to Oregon as well. Like,
so here's my thought process on this whole thing, right?
Okay.
We're not going to belabor it, but here's my thought process. They're going to be 3-0 because they're going to beat Missouri State. They're going to beat Georgia Southern. They're probably going to be able to beat Purdue on the road.
Yeah.
Okay. I think they win 1 of 2 between Michigan State and Illinois. Okay. One of 2. So that's 4 wins.
I don't think they're beating Illinois.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong about Illinois, but
and that's fine. I think they're going to win one or the other. Like, yeah,
I got you.
You know what I mean? So if it's Illinois, great. Then they're going to, beat Michigan State, which I don't think is a huge stretch, right? So that's 4 wins. I think Michigan USC is a toss-up because it's at USC. Okay, so that's like a half a game, maybe, depending. I don't know what to think. I think they're going to beat Northwestern. That's 5. I think they beat Iowa because it's at USC. That's 6. I think they beat UCLA. That's 7. And then I think Nebraska and Michigan are toss-ups. Yeah. So I only need 1 more win to get the over.
Sure.
So that you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yep.
I think they lose to Oregon. I think they lose to Notre Dame. Those are guaranteed losses to me. So yeah, I would take the over. I wouldn't say it's easy money, but I would take the over.
I would take the over as well. I'm fairly comfortable in 8, but I'm just mad at myself because 7.5 is the first number that came to mind. And then maybe it's because you were talking so high about 9.5. Blame Vince.
Wouldn't be the first.
Nope. So the full NFL schedule is going to be released tonight, but we got more of the marquee games released today. Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys, Thanksgiving Day, scale of 1 to 10. How much do you like it?
I'm so over the Chiefs, if I'm being honest. I am obviously in a place where the Cowboys are always going to be on Thanksgiving, and that's awesome. Give me somebody else besides the Chiefs. So I'm on like a 3. I want to see it.
Man, it's amazing to me, like how much you've come. Like, not that you were ever like riding high on the Chiefs, but you just can't stand.
They annoy me. And it's not even their fault. It's the media's fault. Like, I'm overstimulated when it comes to the Chiefs. That's what it is. It's too much. It's the Taylor Swift effect. It's Travis Kelce and the Kelce brothers and their podcast and all that, and it's Mahomes and his headband and. I'm done. I'm over it. I've been saturated with it. I'm done with the Chiefs, and Travis can retire any minute.
So this is a 1 for me because
nice, even less.
I just
a hard time, and it's less for you.
Like, you can put any team up against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, and I guess it was the Giants last year. Like, okay. And that was trying to remember. That felt like it was competitive into the second half. But I don't want to be tortured on Thanksgiving Day. I just want to be like another normal human being.
Yeah.
Eat my turkey, stuff myself, and actually enjoy watching the game. So I don't need it to be the Kansas City Chiefs. The Cowboys are always going to play on Thanksgiving. I don't need it to be the Chiefs. I don't need it to be a good team. I just need it to be a team. Like, give me that boring ho-hum Michael Hahn's New York Giants last year. Yeah, that's right. Two horrible teams by the time Thanksgiving rolled around last year. You're absolutely right. So I don't like the fact that I would rather just have this be a Sunday night game or a Monday night game or even a 4:30 game at some point. But the NFL is going to torture me and every other Cowboys fan on Thanksgiving from now through eternity. Well, speaking of which, Vince, the Chiefs have already, I guess I know the answer to this. Now, I need you to step outside yourself
All right.
to answer this next question, okay? Chiefs they were already announced as a Christmas Day game against the Broncos. That prompted former quarterback Chase Daniel to say the Chiefs are the new America's team. You buying or selling this?
Chase Daniel needs to stick to being a backup quarterback. Made a lot of money doing it, and I praise him in every way for doing that. You have no idea what fans think, Chase. And I am not taking away the moniker of America's team from the Cowboys. They are the media's team. That's it. They're not America's team. And I can tell you right now, the eyeballs will go off of the Chiefs the second that Travis Kelce leaves the team and takes his girlfriend with him. Nobody's going to give a crap anymore as far as America is concerned.
No one's going to care about the team with the best quarterback in the NFL.
I'm
that's
talking
been to
about
5 Super Bowls.
America.
You think America's
going to
just going to stop watching because there's no more T Swift bump?
They're not going to. The eyeballs will not be what they are now. They will go away, and that's just what's going to happen. So they are not America's team. No, sir. I'd sell it.
I mean, I'm selling on America's team. They are a big ratings team, though, right now. And I think that they were even that probably before Taylor Swift, but the Swifties just pushed it over the top, like it's like you were never allowed to say anything bad about Taylor Swift or her music or anything else. And now you're not allowed to say anything bad about the Chiefs as far as they're concerned.
Exactly.
But it is interesting that the Chiefs and Cowboys are going to play each other on Thanksgiving, which obviously means they're both playing on Thanksgiving. But the Cowboys also have a Christmas Day game. And as we talked about earlier in the week, the Cowboys are playing the Eagles in that kickoff game to start the season. It really feels like when you look at what the NFL is doing on these days, Cowboys, Eagles, Super Bowl champs, big rival to kick off the season on a Thursday night. Chiefs, Cowboys on Thanksgiving, both the Chiefs and Cowboys playing on Christmas Day. Like, they're just like, we're not messing around with any other sport. Like, we're going to show you what the NFL can do in terms of viewership. Because, like,
they're not even hiding it.
Yeah. Like, we're just gonna come out guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
And we're getting big viewership numbers on these days. Because, like, I'll be shocked if the Cowboys and Chiefs don't get over 40 million on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Like, they're the ones that are going to bring in the most eyeballs. There's no doubt about it. It'd be like if Notre Dame or if the NCAA had control over scheduling and they wanted to have marquee games on certain days, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it would be like Notre Dame and Alabama or Notre Dame and Georgia. Notre Dame would be involved every single time because they're going to get the most eyeballs of any other team. That's the Chiefs and the Cowboys right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not debating that. That's absolutely the truth. No doubt about it. And they're just going all in. It's not even a secret. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. Everybody, in case you were curious, do all the eyeballs possible. So the Chiefs and the Cowboys,
we're not going to make you sit through garbage on Christmas Day.
Right.
We're giving you it could end up being garbage in some cases, but at the very least, they're giving you, as of right now, 2 of the more marquee brands.
Screw your families. You guys don't get Christmas or Thanksgiving with your families.
Santa can wait.
Let's turn on the Gladiator and you guys can duke it out in front of America.
So I'm selling on the America's team thing, but at the same time, they bring a lot of eyeballs.
They absolutely bring a lot of eyeballs. There's no doubt about it.
Eyeballs. DK said, did Kelce retire? He's looking chunky in recent pics. I haven't seen him in any recent pics.
Yeah, don't care.
The hair looks bad, man. The hair's.
He had a weird haircut going in the playoffs. Like I don't know, man. He just
had that part and the kind of
weird, like.
And then I saw pictures of him from 2 years ago. It was basically, like a nice, kind of buzzed, fade or whatever.
Are you like that's got his
why
written all over.
You know why?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like,
dude, the Cowboys always get the middle time slot.
Yeah.
It's like 4:30
4:30,
Eastern, and then the Lions get the early game, Cowboys in the middle, and then the whoever gets the night game afterwards. Oh, DK says the Lions got Thanksgiving and Christmas as well. Obviously, we know they get Thanksgiving. I hadn't seen the final Christmas game announced. So who are they playing, DK? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh yeah, you're asking him, DK. I don't know the answer. Uh-oh, dinner is served. Thank you. What? Yes. Bye. Are you live? Yes, I'm live.
No, you're just talking to yourself in a room downstairs.
Wouldn't be the first time, I guess.
So ESPN's announced that it's launching a direct-to-consumer streaming service this fall. It's wait for it, going to be called ESPN. Very novel. There, they went outside the box with that one.
Oh, that's great.
It's $30 a month or $300 a year for an annual plan. It'll provide everything that currently airs on ESPN. And at the launch, the service is going to offer 47,000 live events per year, plus on-demand replays, studio shows, and original programming. Again, it's basically, if it's on ESPN, ESPNU, ESPN2, any of those.
What about the plus?
You're going to get it in this. There was some conflicting stuff about whether you get, like, if you're already a plus subscriber, like exactly how that works. So I can't.
Okay. I was just curious.
But if it airs on any of the ESPN channels, you get it.
Gotcha.
In this $30 a month, $300 a year. You're much more into the streaming stuff than me. So is this worth the price? $30 a month for ESPN streaming platform.
So in order to watch ESPN on a streaming platform right now, you have to have Dish or DirecTV or YouTube TV or whatever, some sort of a provider, right? I'll be honest with you. If that was the case for me, it's basically they're making it a la carte. They're making ESPN a la carte, essentially, right?
Exactly.
And
going after the young audience, the cord cutters who don't want to, have cable TV.
That would be this guy. I would do it. I would honestly. That is something that I would absolutely consider doing because most of the things I want to watch are either on network TV or ESPN when we're talking about live TV. And so that is something I would absolutely consider. I'm in for it because I don't want all those extra channels. I really don't. I don't use them. I don't watch them. It's a waste of money for me. So if I could narrow it down to ESPN and then all the network channels, I'm in. That's what I would do.
But where are you going to get your network channels?
The air.
Okay, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I have an antenna. I have an antenna that's on the top. Put it on the top of the house.
Yeah.
And you get like 30 channels. It's like 16.1, 16.2.
Okay.
Like, you get all kinds of. So like, I would do that. I would buy ESPN, and I would be done, and I would be fine with that because we still have Netflix, stuff like that. So from a live TV standpoint, I would absolutely do this.
DK said he. Where did it go? Canceled ESPN Plus last year. Too many blacked out games. Well, again, if like with this new, again, this is separate from ESPN Plus. This is an ESPN, like everything that airs on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, anything that is on those cable channels. Now you can pay $30 a month and watch it stream. So there shouldn't be, any need for concern about, blackouts and stuff like that. Because now you're just streaming it. So it feels a little pricey to me though. Like, because it's basically about twice the cost of like a Netflix or a Hulu or, whatever, where you're getting a lot more content. Now you're not getting live sports content, obviously. And that's the difference.
The $30 is a little steep per month.
Like honestly, like $20 feels like more the price point to me. But.
So I'm horrible at math, so I'm getting out the old calculator here. 300 divided by 12. It's $25 a month, basically, if you pay all at once.
Yeah, if you do I mean, obviously you're saving $60,
right?
If you do the year subscription as opposed to per month.
Yeah.
So but at the same time, again, like you're in the cord cutting, like filter out all the excess. Not going to watch all that different
I'm
stuff.
just saying. I mean, how many channels realistically do you watch? You watch NFL Network. I know that.
Yep.
Obviously, you watch the ESPN because you're
Watch
watching
all
live
these
sports.
based on, yeah.
What else?
I watch a lot of like the HBO and the Showtimes and those kind of things.
Okay.
So that's where like for all the movies, the movie channels and all that kind of stuff. And then in our household, Food Network is watched on the daily, mostly by my daughter. And then TLC is a big popular channel in my household because of their reality.
I get that.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I probably wouldn't get a whole lot of support in my house.
Yeah.
I'm talking about for me personally. So there are other people that live here. So
I'm going to throw this one in here real quick.
Yes.
From Mark. He says, as you are Top Gun obsessed, how would you staff up to play dogfight football? Offense versus defense simultaneously with 2 balls, 11, 22, or somewhere in between. Oh, so is he asking us like what players we would have do this?
I think so. That's a whole show all by itself, man.
I think we might actually just need to save that one
because I really don't understand what they were doing on the beach in Top Gun Maverick. To be perfectly honest,
defense at the same time, but I never really did grasp the scoring system myself. You're right. All right, I took a screenshot of that earlier, so I will save it because I don't know if Mark is still here. Does he basically want us like to pick Notre Dame guys and like plug them in, like who would play against who, kind of thing?
I think so.
Man, that's tough. Chris is saying yes. All right, we're gonna have to think on that. All right, so I screenshotted that and a couple others, so we will get to those on tomorrow's show. I saw that there was a women's basketball question in there.
Nice.
From Scott, and Chris also had a quarterback question in there as well. So I will tack them on to tomorrow because Vince has got to get himself rolling down the street. Yeah. As you heard, dinner is ready.
Hey, fingers crossed that there's some scholarship money coming Dylan's way tonight. Fingers crossed.
All right. Here we go. Make it happen. All right, great questions tonight in the mailbag, as always. Oh, how many safeties? I think he means running backs as opposed to ribs. But
I love
maybe you would have a rib out there.
That's like what you get when you win. You get some ribs.
Yep. All right, hit that like button, and we will talk to you tomorrow on IB Nation Sports Talk.